Good morning. Well, I guess it's good evening. Please excuse me. This is me every day. Fortunately, I work from home, so I do not have to get pretty. At times, I feel sorry for my husband, but it just is what it is. So, what you see is what you get. But my name is Ashley Hudson, and I am so honored and so privileged to share my story with you all tonight. I do believe everyone has a story and it is beautiful and it should be embraced and you should fall in love with it and you should absolutely share it. I do feel like it's my responsibility. So, with that being said, I'm just going to jump right in. Um, so, I was introduced to this amazing product, literally fruits and vegetables in a capsule. That sounds too good to be true, but it's not. Um, Gosh, it was like a year and a half ago. And at the time, my girlfriend, she knew that I was just this CrossFit diva, fitness guru. She thought I was healthy. And from the outside, I'd certainly looked at probably just the picture of perfect health. But what she didn't know was that I had developed an eating disorder at the age of 14. Um, an eating disorder that consumed my life. Not so much consumed it, I was always in good spirits. It never slowed me down. I was an elite athlete, but looking back on my life, I think to myself, how am I still here? Like, how did I make it? And I know it was all God's plan and that there's purpose for your pain. And looking back, yeah, I prayed for years, for God to turn my misery into a ministry. And Juice Plus was the answer. So I started taking Juice Plus, fell in love with the product, even more the company and the mission, and just gave myself wholeheartedly into this. So soon after that, I was reconnected with the love of my life, the most amazing man. Keep in mind, so during this time, for the past 3 years, did not have a menstrual cycle. Sorry. Um, and it's probably because I had done internal damage that I thought was obviously irreversible. But when I learned more about Juice Plus and I learned how it repairs your DNA and it truly does heal you from the inside out because it is food and our bodies know exactly what to do with it. It's kind of the way God designed us to work. Um, your body speaks, your body heals. So a year in, no, 3 months into Juice Plus, here come the floodgates. No pun intended, but it was absolutely the most glorious day of my life. I remember I shared with everybody, I was just in tears, like, you won't believe it. And most women were like, oh my gosh, this girl's going crazy. She didn't start her period. Well, for someone that didn't have one for 3 years, and I had lived with that shame and that guilt of the thought that I would not be able to have children, you know, broke my heart. And I didn't talk about it, but I did. My doctor put me on steroids to try to start my period, and it didn't work. And did I let him know? Absolutely not. I did not. So when me and my husband were reconnected, it was funny. It was in, let's see, it was in October of 2014. And I had started my menstrual cycle that month. And I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, like this is a good sign, like things are working properly. I had felt like I had just really done my body in. And it was such a hurtful time to have to really just live with that. Like, I've done this to myself. Um, but I know the power of whole food nutrition and the power of prayer. And those two combined, it's just a recipe for success. So, needless to say, me and my husband were married in October. And in November of this past year, actually 2015, I took a test, and oh my gosh, it was so crazy that day because I took a test. I just thought it was negative because it always is, and didn't really think anything of it. Went to work, started calling some customers, doing my thing. 2 hours later, I'm like, oh my gosh, I took this test. I need to go look at it. It was positive, and I fell to the floor. You can ask any of my girlfriends. I'm on Boxer, can barely keep it together, crying. My husband's in Arizona. I can't get in touch with him. But it was, man, I will never forget that day. Such a miracle. And I know that if it wasn't for Juice Plus, and then my body didn't heal from the inside out, and I didn't learn what food was to my body, and food is no longer my enemy, none of this would have even happened. So I just love how God truly does put people and things in your path, but it's our job to keep our eyes open and be obedient. Um, so I really just wanted you to see my heart in this story and know that I do believe that everyone needs it. If you can breathe, you need it. But the great part is about this pregnancy is that I have not been sick at all, at all. I've worked out every day. There's been times I'm like, oh my gosh, like what's going on here? But no, it's great, and that's what I wanted to share with you. So I'm sorry this is 5 minutes long. It's going on 6, but I knew this was going to happen. So, anyways, thank you so much for letting me share my story. Thank you so much for being here tonight, and please feel free to share. Good night.